Stop. Don't take another sip of plain water, not until you hear this. And I mean that because just listening won't change anything. You actually have to do what I'm about to show you. I've been practicing urology and men's health for over 30 years, and I thought I had seen it all until something started happening to my own body. I was waking up tired. My hands felt cold in the mornings. And one day, I noticed something most men don't like to talk about. My body just wasn't responding the way it used to. That caught me off guard. At first, I did what every doctor would do. I drank more water, I exercised more, I even tested different supplements. Nothing really fixed it. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't dealing with a hormone problem. I was dealing with a circulation problem. And even deeper than that, a hydration problem I had misunderstood my entire career. Here's the part most people get wrong. Drinking water is not the same as hydrating your body. That realization changed how I look at aging, and honestly, how I treat my patients today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a few simple changes, things you can start doing as early as tomorrow morning that can help your blood flow, your energy, and yes, even how your body responds again. Stay with me. This might be one of the most important shifts you make after 60. And number 2 is the exact trick I mentioned in the title of this video, the one simple change that can help your body actually use the water you drink and improve blood flow. If you're curious where this comes from, I've added more details down in the description. Before we go any further, let me ask you something quick. How old are you? Go ahead and drop your age in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know who I'm speaking to. Now, let's get into the real issue. What's actually going wrong inside your body? Because once you understand this part, everything else in this video will finally make sense. 1. The real pain. Before we talk about anything complicated, I want you to try something simple tomorrow morning. When you wake up, don't reach for coffee right away, don't even drink plain water yet. Just pause and notice your body. Notice if your hands feel cold, if your mind feels foggy, if your energy is low, or if your body isn't responding the way it used to. It sounds almost too simple, but that moment tells you more about your circulation than most lab tests. What many men over 60 don't realize is this. Those small signs are not random, they are signals. Your body is telling you that blood is not moving the way it should. And here's where it gets interesting, because most people think this is about hormones, but in reality, it's about how well your blood is flowing through tiny vessels that become stiffer with age. As we get older, our blood vessels lose flexibility, and our cells lose the ability to hold on to water efficiently. That means even if you drink enough fluids, your circulation can still slow down and oxygen delivery drops. Some clinical observations have shown that improving hydration at the cellular level can enhance circulation efficiency by up to 20 to 30%, and that alone can influence energy, mental clarity, and even physical responsiveness. Now here's the part that surprises most of my patients. Better circulation doesn't just help your heart or your brain, it also affects the most sensitive vascular tissues in your body. That's why one of the earliest signs of poor blood flow is not chest pain or fatigue, but a subtle loss of firmness, slower response, or a lack of that natural morning signal you used to take for granted. So here's a simple starting point I give my patients. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, drink 1 large glass of water slowly, not rushed, and pay attention to how your body responds over the next 15 to 30 minutes. Do this consistently for a few days because this isn't about one moment, it's about patterns your body is trying to show you over time. Because once you start noticing these patterns, you'll begin to understand something most men completely miss. It's not just what you drink, it's what your body is able to do with it. And in the next part, I'm going to show you the one small addition that can change that process almost instantly. 2. The simple trick that changes everything. Now let's take that same glass of water and upgrade it in a way that sounds almost too basic, but has a very real biological impact. Before you drink it, add a small pinch of natural mineral salt, about 1/16 of a teaspoon, to warm water, stir it, and sip it slowly within the first 10 minutes of waking up. This practice has roots in traditional medicine, where mineralized water was used to awaken circulation, but modern physiology explains exactly why it works. Here's the central mechanism most people miss. Hydration is not just about water volume, it's about electrolyte-driven absorption. Sodium, in its natural form, helps activate transport channels in your intestinal lining, allowing water to actually enter the bloodstream and then the cells. Without that signal, much of the water you drink simply passes through, which is why many older adults urinate frequently but still feel internally dehydrated. Clinical data supports this more than people expect because studies on oral rehydration show that adding sodium can improve fluid absorption efficiency by up to 30 to 40%. And when combined with proper electrolyte balance, circulation markers can improve by around 15 to 20% in older adults. That translates into better blood flow, improved oxygen delivery, and more stable vascular function, especially important for tissues that depend on rapid blood supply. But here's where it becomes more powerful. When this small amount of sodium works together with your body's existing magnesium and potassium levels, you get a synergistic effect. Sodium helps pull water into the bloodstream, magnesium helps relax the vessel walls, and potassium stabilizes the pressure inside those vessels. Together, they create a smoother, more responsive flow rather than the stiff, sluggish circulation many men experience after 60. Now, there is a caution here, especially if you have high blood pressure or kidney concerns, because excess refined salt is not the same thing as a small amount of mineral-rich salt. That's why we start small. For beginners, use just a light pinch every other morning for the first week. Observe how your body feels, then gradually move to daily use if tolerated well. The key is consistency, not intensity. Over time, this simple adjustment begins to retrain how your body handles hydration, and many men notice subtle changes within days: warmer hands, clearer thinking, and a sense that their body is responding again. But this is only one part of the system, because once water actually enters your cells, something else determines whether that flow stays strong or breaks down again. And that's what we need to explore next. 3. The compound that activates blood flow fast. Now that your body can actually absorb water, we need something that tells your blood vessels to open. And this is where one compound makes a noticeable difference much faster than most people expect. I'm talking about magnesium, a mineral many men over 60 are quietly deficient in, and one that directly affects how tightly or loosely your blood vessels behave. If sodium helps water get in, magnesium helps that water move where it needs to go. Here's the simple process. Your blood vessels are surrounded by smooth muscle, and those muscles are constantly tightening and relaxing. Magnesium acts like a natural signal that tells those muscles to relax, which allows vessels to widen and improves blood flow almost immediately. Without enough magnesium, those vessels stay slightly constricted, and even small changes in circulation become harder to achieve. What surprised me early in my practice is how quickly this can work when done correctly. Some clinical findings show that magnesium supplementation can improve vascular dilation by up to 15 to 25% within a few hours, and other data suggests improvements in endothelial function of around 10 to 15% within just 24 hours. That's why some men report feeling warmer, more alert, and even physically more responsive the same day they start using it. There's also a performance side to this that many people overlook. Better blood flow means better oxygen delivery, which can translate into improved stamina, less fatigue during the day, and a more stable energy level instead of those sudden crashes. For many men, that alone feels like getting part of their body back. Now, I know what some of you are thinking: magnesium supplements upset my stomach, or they make me feel off. And that can happen, especially with certain forms, but in many cases, mild effects like softer stools or a slight sense of relaxation are actually signs your body is finally responding, not rejecting it. So here's how I guide my patients. Start with 100 to 200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or citrate in the evening, about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. If you're new to it, begin at the lower end for the first few days, then slowly increase if your body tolerates it well. This timing also supports deeper sleep, which further enhances recovery and circulation overnight. The real power comes from combining what we've talked about so far: better hydration in the morning, vessel relaxation at night, and consistent daily support. You start to feel short-term changes within hours or days, but the long-term benefit builds quietly over weeks. But even with good hydration and relaxed vessels, there's still one missing piece, something that controls the pressure and rhythm of your entire circulatory system. And that's where the next element becomes critical. 4. The unexpected booster for circulation. This one might sound a little unusual at first, but I want you to try adding a small amount of citrulline-rich support like watermelon extract or L-citrulline powder into your routine. It's not something most men over 60 think about, but it directly feeds into one of the most powerful circulation pathways in your body. And once you understand how it works, it starts to make a lot of sense. Here's the deeper mechanism. L-citrulline is converted in your body into L-arginine, and that arginine is then used to produce nitric oxide, a key molecule that signals your blood vessels to expand. Nitric oxide doesn't just affect large arteries, it also improves microcirculation, meaning even the smallest capillaries begin delivering more oxygen and nutrients to tissues that have been undersupplied for years. What's important here is the chain reaction. Citrulline increases arginine levels, arginine boosts nitric oxide, and nitric oxide relaxes the inner lining of your vessels. Some controlled trials have shown that L-citrulline supplementation can increase nitric oxide availability by over 20 to 30% and improve blood flow efficiency by around 15% within a short period. Other data suggests measurable improvements in vascular function and endurance within just 1 to 2 weeks of consistent use. Now think about how this connects to real symptoms. Cold hands, numbness in the feet, slow healing, reduced sensitivity. These are not random aging signs, they are often the result of poor microcirculation. When nitric oxide levels rise, blood doesn't just move better through major vessels, it reaches those smaller, harder-to-reach areas again. If you're starting out, I recommend a gradual approach. Begin with 1 gram of L-citrulline once per day, preferably in the morning or early afternoon, and increase slowly to 2 to 3 grams daily if tolerated well. Taking it on a relatively empty stomach and with slightly warm water can improve absorption, and combining it with light movement, like a short walk, can enhance its effects even further. There are a few safety notes to keep in mind. If you're on blood pressure medication or nitrate-based drugs, you should speak with your doctor before adding this, because the combined effect can lower blood pressure more than expected. But when used appropriately, many men experience noticeable changes in warmth, endurance, and responsiveness within days. Now at this point, we've improved hydration, relaxed the vessels, and activated nitric oxide. But there's still one final piece that determines whether all of this translates into consistent, reliable performance. And that last piece is often the most overlooked, yet the most powerful of all. 5. The final key that stabilizes everything. This next step may sound surprisingly simple, but it's often the missing piece that determines whether all the improvements you've made actually last throughout the day. I'm talking about potassium, and not just as a nutrient, but as a regulator of pressure, rhythm, and flow inside your entire circulatory system. Most men overlook it, yet it quietly controls how efficiently your heart pushes blood and how smoothly that blood travels. Here's the deeper mechanism. Potassium works through electrical gradients across your cell membranes, especially in muscle and nerve cells. It balances sodium, stabilizes heart rhythm, and influences how blood vessels contract and relax. When potassium levels are low, the system becomes unstable. Vessels can stiffen, pressure fluctuates, and even if blood flow improves temporarily, it doesn't stay consistent. This is where the intermediate processes matter. Potassium supports the sodium-potassium pump, which helps maintain proper cellular hydration and electrical signaling. That directly affects vascular tone and ensures that nitric oxide signaling remains effective rather than fading quickly. Some studies have shown that increasing potassium intake can reduce vascular resistance by up to 10 to 15% and improve blood pressure stability by around 5 to 10% within a few weeks, especially in older adults. Now think about the symptoms this connects to: heavy legs, occasional numbness, slow wound healing, or that feeling where your body just doesn't hold energy for long. These are often signs that circulation is not being maintained, even if it briefly improves. Potassium helps lock in that improvement so your system doesn't fall back into imbalance. For practical use, start gradually. Add one potassium-rich source daily, such as a medium banana or a glass of natural electrolyte water, preferably earlier in the day. If needed, you can increase to 2 servings, but avoid sudden large amounts. Timing matters too. Taking potassium earlier supports daytime circulation, while pairing it with hydration improves uptake. There are important safety considerations here. If you have kidney issues or are on certain medications, potassium levels must be monitored because excess can be harmful. This is not about extremes, it's about restoring balance in a controlled way. When potassium is combined with everything we've covered, hydration, magnesium, nitric oxide, you begin to feel something different, not just a temporary boost, but a steadier, more reliable flow. And yet, even with all of this in place, there's still one final factor that can amplify or completely block these effects, and that's what we're about to uncover next. 6. The most powerful daily reset. If there's one method I would prioritize above everything we've discussed, this would be it, and it may surprise you how simple it is. I'm talking about beetroot, specifically prepared in a way that maximizes its natural nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide through a different pathway than what we discussed earlier. This gives you a second, powerful route to improve blood flow, almost like opening a backup highway when the main road is congested. Here's why beetroot is unique. It works through the nitrate-nitric oxide pathway, which bypasses some of the limitations of aging blood vessels. Think of it like this. If your circulation system is a network of pipes, beetroot helps reduce the pressure inside those pipes while also increasing the volume of flow. Studies have shown that dietary nitrates from beetroot can increase nitric oxide levels by up to 40 to 50%, and improve blood flow and vascular function by around 20% within just a few hours of consumption. In fact, some comparisons suggest that this effect can approach the level of certain pharmaceutical interventions in terms of improving vascular dilation, but without the same dependency or side effects. And beyond circulation, many men report better stamina, improved endurance, and a noticeable increase in overall energy throughout the day. Now, the preparation matters more than most people realize. You don't want to overheat it because high temperatures can reduce nitrate content. The best method is to use fresh beetroot juice or lightly blended raw beet, about 150 to 250 milliliters, taken in the morning or about 2 to 3 hours before activity. Slightly cool or room temperature works best, and pairing it with a light meal can improve tolerance. If you're new, start with a smaller amount, maybe 100 milliliters, and build up over a week. Some people notice their urine or stool turning slightly red. That's normal, and actually a sign the compounds are being processed. What matters is consistency, because this is not a one-time boost. It's a daily signal to your body that better circulation is possible. And here's the part I want you to remember. None of this is expensive, none of it requires a prescription, and none of it is out of reach. Your body still has the ability to respond even after 60 if you give it the right signals. No drugs, low cost, science-backed, and most importantly, it's something you can start tomorrow morning. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. 1. In the upcoming videos, I'll continue breaking down simple, science-based ways to improve blood flow, energy, and overall performance after 60 without relying on complicated routines or expensive solutions. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.